Lose an hour in the morning, and you will spend all day looking for it. That is a quote by Richard Whately. Richard was a 19th century theologian and logician. As I was out doing my shopping for Christmas over the weekend, I thought this quote was very interesting, as we live in a world today where everything is fast moving, everything is instant gratification. Now is the time of the year for gifts and holidays and having family over and traveling. And I thought this was a good way to lead us into our topic, because time is very valuable, but we often take it for granted.
Welcome to Trina Talk. Trina Talk is a weekly podcast that will inspire and empower women of all ages to strive for the impossible. Your host, Trina L. Martin from TrinaMartin.com, is a motivational speaker, leader, and cyber tech expert. Every week, Trina will share wisdom gained from her life experiences and lessons learned while pursuing her goals to inspire you to achieve the next level in your life. Now, your host, Trina L. Martin.
Hello, ladies. I am Trina L. Martin, and this is episode number 8 of Trina Talk. Thank you for tuning in. For those of you this is your first time tuning in, Trina Talk is inspirational talk based on life experiences and wisdom gained by a woman, that be me, for women who want inspiration to go to the next level in their lives. Now, today's topic is, who else needs more time? Every woman I know, including myself, needs more time. And it seems that as we get older, time goes by a lot quicker. What I don't think a lot of us realize is time is the most valuable thing that we have. And none of us have enough of it. Ladies, I know you are out there doing the mostest. Ladies are busier now than ever before in this lifetime. We are balancing careers, we're balancing businesses and families. And when it comes down to it, you just have to realize that you can't be everywhere and you can't do everything. There is a difference between being busy and busyness. And that's kind of what I want to share with you today. I want to help you look at your life and see if you're being busy or if you're creating busyness, and how to get your time management better and more under control. When I was in my 30s, I seemed to just been into busyness. Every weekend I had something to do. It took all day. I was spinning my wheels all the time. And honestly, looking back, I don't know what I was doing and what it went towards, what my energy went towards, and where my time went. Because one day, as I got into my late 30s, probably when I hit 40, one day I realized, I said, why am I doing all of this? What is this for? What can I cut out so that I can reclaim some of my time? And when I did that, it felt strange, because I sat up one day and I was looking around and I was going, I know I'm forgetting to do something. What am I forgetting to do? But I wasn't forgetting to do anything. It's just I had just engulfed myself into busyness. And so that's what we all need to realize, is there's a difference between actually being busy and busyness. Don't do like I did. Don't create busyness for yourself. You know, I learned a lot about time growing up with my mother. My mother was a person who, to save a nickel, she would go to 12 different grocery stores. So, unlike the children today, when I was 9, 10, whatever, when I started doing the grocery shopping, she would sit down and take the grocery ad flyers and look through all the grocery stores and say, I want these items from this store, but then you need to go to this store because they have cabbage that's 5 cents cheaper. And then when you leave that store, you need to go to this other store because they have bread that's 10 cents cheaper. And of course, I just could not understand it because growing up in Chicago, I either had to walk or get on the bus to go to all these different stores to get all these different items that she wanted to get because one store had the item 5 or 10 cents less than the other store. So what I did at that time, I promised myself that I would never waste time. Because when you think about it, that not only was a waste of time, if I were driving, that would have been a waste of my gas too, because you can get the same thing at every grocery store. You don't have to go to 3 different grocery stores. Yeah, maybe one store has it cheaper than the other, but in the scheme of things, 5 cents less is really not a maker or a breaker. So it was at that time in my life where I realized when I got to a point where I made money, I could make decisions, I could do things on my own, I realized that I didn't want to waste my time doing things like that. So I hope you can relate to this, and I'm pretty sure you can, and I'm pretty sure we all can sit down and think about what to do to better manage our time. And especially now, with it being the holiday season, there's so much going on, and I know we all want to be social and be with family and feel that we have to take part in things, but let's put some things into perspective. So I'm going to share with you some things that I do that has helped me better my time management, and maybe it'll help you as well. Number one, I prioritize. I make lists. And, those smartphones that we have in our purses, the $1,000 iPhone, those things you can take notes on. And I use mine very regularly. When I think of things that I need to do, I go into my reminders and I set a reminder saying, okay, on this date, I need to call the doctor. On this date, I need to schedule an appointment. Same thing for shopping. If I needed to go to the grocery store, I make a list of, okay, here's the items that I need to get. You have to make lists. Same is true for work. When I go to work, I already have a set plan in my mind on the things that I would like to accomplish for that day. So you have to make lists, because if we don't, we're just out there. We're out there spinning our wheels willy-nilly, going here, going there, doing this thing, doing that thing. And quite honestly, I have to make lists, because if I don't, my ADD kind of kicks in where I'm going, okay, let me do this. Oh, I thought about that. So I got to keep myself focused. So I know I'm not the only one with this issue, but you have to make lists to keep yourself on track. Another thing that I thought that I use and that I think is helpful for me, and it may be helpful for you, is I get up either earlier or stay up later to get some things done. Now, my day starts at an ungodly early time during the week, so I'm not getting up much earlier than what I normally get up. But on the weekends, I get up early, and sometimes during the weekdays, I stay up late to get things done, because I'm busy just like all of you. And I'm trying to have my family, my career, and my business, my speaking business and the podcast. So sometimes that means that I have to devote some time later on in the evening during the weekday, or get up early in the morning on the weekends. And that's where I can accomplish a lot of things. So that's something that you may have to do to get some things done. The third thing that I've learned to do, and this may help a lot of you out there, is to say no. And it's funny because even Oprah Winfrey said she had to come to a point where she learned how to say no. You got to learn how to say no, and don't feel bad about it. Say no to people. Say no to events. Like I said, it's the holiday season. There are going to be plenty of things going on, and people are going to be inviting you to this party, that party, whatever. You may not want to go to those things, and it's okay not to go. It's okay to say no. Say no, I can't make it. You don't have to be rude. You don't have to be nasty about it. But just say no. Say, you know what? I have something else planned. And you don't need to go into details about what you have planned. Your plan could be you just sitting at home getting your mind right. That is all acceptable. Say no. You do not have to partake into everything. The next thing that I do is I decide how much time I want to give to a certain task and people. Now, as I make my list, like I said that I do on all the things that I want to accomplish, I kind of give myself a time limit on how much time I want to spend doing the things that I need to do. Because just like you, we all get caught up in giving time to one particular thing. I know I can. I know I can sit down and say I want to do this first thing, and I can get so deeply engrossed into it where I look up and the whole day has passed and I haven't done anything else. Well, to avoid doing that, I say, okay, I want to work on X task for an hour. Then I want to move to the next task and maybe devote 2 hours to that. That way I'm getting some traction done and I'm getting things done of the various tasks that I need to do. Because I know a lot of times when I get started with something, I'm like, oh, this, I really don't want to stop. I want to just get into it. I want to do it. I want to do it to completion. But a lot of times doing it to completion takes all day. It may take multiple days. So then when you look up, you've devoted all your time to one thing when you had 10 other things on your list to do. So you need to set a time limit on how you're going to divvy up and allocate your time to specific things. And even do it for people. Because some people, they will take every minute of your day. There are some people who, I don't know what they do in their lives, but I don't think they have much to do because they will text you all day long. And texting is great for something quick and easy, but I don't need to be text all day. And my thing is, if we're friends, why are you texting me? You can pick up the phone and talk to me. And you know what? And that'll go so much quicker for both of us. I have a friend. She will text me all day long. And I'll be driving and she's texting me, oh, what are you doing? How's this? I did this, blah, blah, blah. And I'll get a text. And then the next second I'll turn around and call her. And she won't answer the phone. And I think that's so crazy because I'm like, you have time to text me, but I turned around and actually phoned you to actually have a conversation with you and you won't pick up the phone. It takes so much time to text when a lot of things can be done quickly with just voice calling. I think we've all gotten caught up into the technology thing that we've forgotten about those things. So remember that. The next thing is share your responsibilities with your spouse or your children if they're old enough. And this is something that I had to realize myself probably about a year or two ago. I was doing everything in the house, laundry, cooking, cleaning, all these things. And I didn't realize that my children had become teenagers. And I didn't have to do all these things by myself. I realized that I have 2 teenagers in this house who can cook and do chores and clean and do some of these things that I was taking all the responsibility for because they were younger. Plus, I had to do the things that I needed to do for my work, my career, the Navy. And then when I sat back and realized it and I started telling them, okay, here's your chores that you need to do every day. Here's things that you need to do every week. Here's some things that when you're hungry, you can go in there and prepare for yourself. And when I started to do that, I ended up not being as stressed. I taught them how to do their own laundry. And that was the greatest thing that I could do because trying to do laundry for everyone in the house, as you know, that takes a lot of time. So if they can do their own laundry and fold it, That frees up my time so that I can do some other things that I need to do and then prepare a meal for them. So you got to learn how to designate some of those responsibilities because, like I said, you can't do everything. And then my next thing, and this thing is so dear to my heart, and you're going to think it's funny what I say, but stop giving your time to vampires. No, I don't mean the, fictional vampires, but there are people who will literally suck the life out of you. And I have family members like that honestly, I had to block their phone numbers because they were so negative and so time consuming that they would get you on the phone, call you, and go through all their, oh, pity parties, woe is me. I'm having this issue. I'm having that issue. Life is so bad. Life is so, unfair to me that by the time I got off the phone, I started feeling depressed too. I was going, oh, woe is me. What's going on? And they suck the energy out of you. They take your happiness. They take your joy. But then on top of all of that, they've taken, I don't know how much time you've spent on the phone listening to them because you're trying to be a good friend or a good brother, a good sister. So you've listened to them. And then before you know it, you're going, you know what? I didn't do the things I had to do because I was dealing with knucklehead on the phone. So you got to learn how to not give your time to the vampires. It's funny, but not funny. My next thing is stay away from the nonsense. And that kind of correlates with the vampires, but things that aren't useful to you and don't add value, don't entertain them. Do not entertain them. Some people like to gossip. They like to gossip or they're just talking about nothing. If you have a person like that, politely and quickly cut them off and go on about your way because that's nonsense. And sometimes we all get sucked up into it. We get sucked up in somebody telling a story or gossiping about something that you really don't care about. And it usually always happens right when you're busiest, when you're trying to get something accomplished, you're trying to meet a deadline, you're almost there, you got a train of thought, and then here they come. And usually when I find myself getting sucked in by somebody like that, after they finish saying what they're saying, I usually look at them and I say, that was 5 minutes of my life that I will never get back. One day I'm going to be on my dying bed and I'm going to need those 5 minutes and I just gave them to you. It's kind of comical. And I think I first heard that on the show Sopranos. Remember when the Sopranos came on years ago? But it's true. You think about it. You spent however much time listening to someone talk about something that was totally just nonsense, some foolishness. And you think about, that was such a waste of my time. That was not what I meant to do. So stay away from the nonsense. The next thing is stop feeding those things and those people who don't feed you. The friends who want your undivided attention, but when you go to them crying and you have a problem and you're saying, I have this problem, I just need a shoulder to cry on, I need somebody to listen to, and they tell you, suck it up. I don't know what's wrong with you. You knew that was going to happen. You knew this was going to happen. You know what? Inevitably, that type of person is the person that when that situation is reversed and it happens to them, they want your attention. They're going to call you. They're going to say, well, this, and this happened. This is it. And they expect you to be attentive for them. But when you were in that situation, they didn't have time for you. So stop feeding those things and those people who are not feeding you. And ladies, let me say it to you loud and clear. That also goes for romantic relationships. If you're in a relationship and you're giving, and you're not getting anything in return, and you feel like you are just being sucked dry, get out of it. We have all been there. I have. you have, and we all know that it is no bueno. Get out of it. And then the last thing, and probably the most important thing to do as far as with your time management, is after you've done all these other things to allocate your time properly and to do things so that you're working effectively and efficiently, you want to make that time for yourself to recharge and to de-stress. I say I'm detoxing. Not detoxing from drugs, but detoxing from all the craziness that's going around. Giving my time to everything and everyone and the stress that comes upon us. I call it detoxing. So make time for yourself. Whatever you like to do. I mean, a couple episodes back, I had the self-care episode. Whatever you like to do that brings you center and recharges you, do that, because that's most important in life. So we've talked about the time management and all the things to do to try to reclaim some of your time, because your time is valuable and we all need more time, but we don't realize that we waste the time that we have. So we want to stop wasting our time, ladies. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up, and I'm going to give you my takeaways for this week. And that is, if you don't value your time, no one else will. 1, you got to stop the busyness. 2, stop giving to those who don't give back to you. 3, remember your time is priceless. Your time is valuable and priceless. And if no one else thinks so, that's too bad for them. But you should know that your time is priceless. So I'm going to end with another quote, and I truly love this quote. And it is, time is what we want the most, but we use the worst. And it is by William Penn. I hope I inspired you, and I hope I gave you a little something to get you going and to kind of help you go through this holiday season, and even after the holiday season, as far as managing your time better and making yourself feel good. Thank you for listening. Until next week, take care and God bless. If you're looking for a speaker for your live event or conference, go to my website and read my bio and contact me at bit.ly/book Trina. I hope you have a great week. Until then, remember, if you change your mindset, you'll change your life. Keep striving. Success is a journey, not a destination. You can listen to Trina Talk anytime and anywhere. It's available on iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher, Spotify, and all other places that you can listen to podcasts. If you like the podcast, please don't forget to go to iTunes to subscribe, rate, review, and share. If you have questions for me or need inspiration on how to go to the next level, tweet me directly at Trina L. Martin.